These days it feels like Donald Trump faces a new setback every single day. Another ally quitting, someone speaking out, or yet another poll or lawsuit exposing how unpopular and legally vulnerable he is. Today he got hit twice. Gavin Newsom dropped a new bombshell, and Carolyn Leavitt spiraled over Trump's latest legal defeat delivered by the governor who gets under his skin the most. We'll break it all down. Before that, please leave a like and hit subscribe if you enjoy the channel. And before we get to Newsom's legal win, I want to start with how he blasted Trump's destructive agenda today, because that's the backdrop for this major ruling.
I think Trump is one of the most destructive presidents and human beings in my lifetime. I think this republic is at real risk, this country being unrecognizable. And I have no patience for people that want to indulge it. I can't stand the crony capitalism. I can't stand all these supplicants that are sitting there bending the knee to this president. I can't stand the universities that have done that, the law firms that have done that, the individual corporate leaders that have done that, the other governors, maybe Democrats and Republicans that have been complicit at this moment. This guy is reckless. He's wrecked this country. We'll not have a fair and free election if we don't continue to fight. That's what matters to me, seriously. I'm the future ex-governor, and who the hell knows what happens the rest of my life, except one thing I know that matters in the rest of my life is I have to look at my kids in the goddamn eye. I mean that, seriously. That's not like a politician thing, to look them in the eye and say that not a peril of being judged, not to have lived in the moment.
Noam is absolutely right. And it's the kind of messaging Democrats need to use more often when discussing this administration. At his core, Donald Trump wants to tear government apart, not because he believes government itself is bad, but because any part of government that doesn't serve him personally is what he considers bad. He's done nothing to challenge the massive subsidies and handouts to corporations and billionaires. Instead, he targets the judiciary, Congress, and any agency that stands in the way of his corruption. Trump wants people to believe that government failing you is government working the way it should. His goal is deliberate destruction. That's exactly what he and Russ Vought built into Project 2025, why he talked about wanting federal workers traumatized. It was never just about pushing civil servants to quit. It was about convincing us that government belongs to the rich and powerful and that Trump will weaponize it against us. But that is not reality. We still have real power, and Trump doesn't own the presidency, the Congress, the courts, or the military. He wants you to think he does so you won't fight back. But fighting back is exactly what we must do. It's what Gavin Newsom has been doing, and it's exactly what he pointed out in this clip right here before we get to the legal bombshell.
And saying he wants to protect California farm workers from deportation, given what you...
This is what he does. He creates a problem, and then he tries to be a hero in his own Marvel movie. Did it on... fill in a blank. On almost every topic, creates the problem, and then tries to do a make-believe as if you're all perfect little sheep, and you're going to go on with it, to be the hero in his own Marvel movie. He initiated those raids. He significantly increased the scale and scope of those raids. That's why he wants the National Guard. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of guardsmen and women now being dispersed everywhere, sprinter vans, unmarked, people with masks, running in, rolling over, some case running into cars. 6-month-old kid, a 3-year-old child in the back of the car, left. So, spare me, Mr. President, that he's sincere, but if he is, that happened because of you. It happened because of the American people, because they stood up, and that should give us some optimism. Thank you all very, very much.
Governor Newsom, as always, when taking on Donald Trump, is spot on. Trump wants you to think that the military is under his control, that we should all live in fear of him, that he is inevitable. But as we have seen over the past weeks and months, really, Donald Trump isn't inevitable. His unpopularity is inevitable. Donald Trump's political crisis that he is in right now, the fracturing of MAGA, that is certainly inevitable. But Donald Trump's ultimate takeover of our entire government for himself, for his rich buddies, for the other oligarchs, it's not. It is something preventable. It is something that we can fight back against. Donald Trump does not own us. Donald Trump is this moment, but he is this moment less and less every time we stand up and we fight back and we actually show that he does not have the power that he expects us to cede to him. That is why Governor Newsom's fight, not just in redistricting, but caking Donald Trump to court every single day, has been so important, and he's winning again, and it's pissing off Carolyn Leavitt. Governor wrote on Twitter after the New York Times broke the story that a judge had ruled that the Trump administration had kept National Guard troops in Los Angeles illegally and ordered an end to the deployment. Newsom wrote, Donald Trump diverted these brave men and women from their vital public safety operations and deployed them against the very communities they took an oath to serve. Today's ruling is unmistakably clear. The federalization of the California National Guard must end. And of course, Carolyn Leavitt was not happy when she was asked questions about Donald Trump's use of the National Guard and just had a full-blown meltdown.
If the courts allow you to ultimately send in the National Guard into Chicago and Portland, do Democrats not have reason to be concerned that there are long-term plans by this administration to keep U.S. military or the National Guard in American cities, like what we are seeing here in Washington?
Why should they be concerned about the federal government offering help to make their cities a safer place? They should be concerned about this. They should be concerned about the fact that people in their cities right now are being gunned down every single night. And the president, all he's trying to do is fix it. And there has been a complete smear campaign by the Democrats and the media, quite frankly. I was reading Political Playbook this morning, one of the most inside the Beltway newsletters you can find. And you guys are framing this like the president wants to take over the American cities with the military. The president wants to help these local leaders who have been completely ineffective in securing their own cities. And we have already seen there's a positive formula for that. Look at Washington, D.C. The murder rate has declined significantly. Our streets are safer. People who live here feel safer. All of you in this room, I know you do, you just won't admit it. And it's a proven system that works, and the president wants to make America's cities safe again. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
The notion that Donald Trump deployed the National Guard to any city for safety instead of intentionally stirring chaos is ridiculous. Axios reported that Trump sent the National Guard not only to Los Angeles, but also to Portland, where the LA protests were powerful, organized, and made it clear that people wouldn't allow Trump to intimidate their communities. But in Portland, things took an almost comedic turn in the best way possible, with people showing up in T-Rex costumes, mocking Trump, and protesters doing goofy dances. It highlighted exactly who Donald Trump is at his core. A clownish, insecure figure grasping for purpose, using fear as his only tool. His whole approach was simple. If his forces created disorder, he'd claim it proved chaos existed. If nothing happened, he'd take credit for preventing it. But what actually happened was communities joining together to tell him to get the hell out of Los Angeles and showing him he was a joke in Portland. So no, Carolyn, as always, you're dead wrong. And this all fits perfectly into Trump's gangster state mentality, trying to bully people into believing they have no power and should live in fear of him. It's completely false. We see the same pattern throughout Trump's administration, especially right now with the DOJ. Trump is using every tool he can to attack political enemies. That's why Senator Sheldon Whitehouse called out exactly this behavior. What he said is crucial, and it's worth watching his full interview with Lawrence O'Donnell.
According to three sources, Patel has on more than one occasion ordered that the security detail protecting his girlfriend escort one of her allegedly inebriated friends home after a night of partying in Nashville. Senator, these are FBI agents, and this is what Kashyap Patel has them doing.
It's a signal of how these people approach their jobs. They're not serious people. This is their chance to basically play at being the FBI director, and they're distracted by the toys and the fun and games of it all because fundamentally they're not up to doing the real job. If you're a clown who knows you're no good at the job, then it's all about cosplay and dress up. It's like they've all come to a giant costume party in which they get to play act at the roles of really important jobs. And they get to have the security details and the guy with the thing in his ear and the black limos and the fancy office and people calling them Mr. Secretary or Mr. Director and the jets and the whole thing. And that's what it's about for them, because for them, the job is fundamentally not serious. It's suck up to Trump so you get to keep the job, so you get all the play clothes and the play toys to play around with. But it's not about doing the job for the American people in a serious or effective way.
This is exactly the kind of intimidation we have to keep exposing. I repeat it constantly because it truly matters. The idea that Donald Trump has unstoppable power or can keep expanding it is flat out wrong. He only gains ground when we fail to push back. The reality is Trump is losing lawsuits at a 95, 96, 97% rate. That is not the record of someone who holds the kind of power he wants us to believe he has. Yes, the Supreme Court is a different story. Trump bought influence there, corrupted it, and turned it into an illegitimate right-wing political machine. We should call those justices exactly what they are. And every Democrat considering the presidency should be openly discussing impeachment and accountability for that corruption. That must be crystal clear. But the Supreme Court is not the only battleground. It's not the only court. And it's not the only place where we win. Governor Newsom keeps racking up victories. Governor Pritzker keeps racking up victories. Across the country, governors and state leaders are beating Trump's agenda every single day, and we win every time we fight him consistently. That's exactly what we're doing on this show. If you want to support that work, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and if you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.